co-opted like a spare tire. But having gone to Government College Umuahia, we were taught to rise up to any occasion. I'm glad Abogidi is leading the government colleges here, because Dr. K.I.K. always intimidates me with King's College. I think I showed this here. I do that. We outnumber them today. My brother, Commodore Aneke, is at Umuahia. He went to Government College Umuahia. Chris Asonoka went to government secondary school, but it's still a government college. So I'm going to speak today on tariff, because I was just conscripted here. I'm going to speak from the power sector. Our tariff there is governed by what you call MITO, multi-year tariff order. We have what you call the short-term review and the long-term review. And in all electricity markets that I have studied in my life, there's what you call a cost-reflective tariff. Before we started this event today, there was blackout. A country with a population of over 200 is in the negative. We cannot continue like this without a cost-reflective tariff. The problem with NEPA, TCN, DISCOs, GENCOs, whatever you call them by whatever name, is insolvency. The power sector is insolvent. Government, Ladilac. Dr. K.I.K. went to Ladilac. General Ike Machuku went to Ladilac. And I went to Ladilac. All my family members went to Ladilac. And all the Machukus went to Ladilac. And Dr. Dikakalu went from Ladilac to St. Jude's Primary School in 1947. Ladilac was started by my Sierra Leonean auntie. John is the only thing that can set us. John is the only thing that can set us free. So back on tariff. Nigerians have suffered enough. Gave the blueprint to South Korea. Look at where South Korea is today. We keep talking about Singapore and Lee Kuan Yew. Yes, they were the same economic base as Nigeria in 1960. But because we do not place a premium on mediocrity or on meritocracy, we often place a premium on mediocrity at the expense of meritocracy. I will not disagree. I will not disagree with His Royal Highness, who said our problem is a lack of leaders. I will not disagree with him. Who born me to disagree with His Royal Highness? My own point, whatever I'm doing, to end up in academics. So we must identify and put up our first 11 to play the economic soccer of the world. If you go with your third 11, you end up in your third 11. We have them here. We have Nigerians who are doing great things in Oxford, in Cambridge, in Harvard, in Wharton, in all the great institutions in the world. We have Nigerians there. The Dean of African Studies was Wale Adebambi. He was poached from Oxford to University of Pennsylvania. We have lots of them. We have Bayo Ogunlesi. He has a GIP, Global Infrastructure. He owns Gatwick, Edinburgh Airport, City Airport, London. He's from Ikorodu Shagamu. He's a Nigerian. Well, he went to King's College too. So, up KC. So, my own point is simple. As someone who was conscripted, is to talk about the need for a cost-reflective tariff. If the Minister for National Planning can make provision to shock the subsidy, because Nigerians have suffered enough from the removal of subsidy. So there must be a way to finance a cost-reflective tariff. Thank you very much.
A privilege and honor for me to address you today in the presence of His Majesty, the Obi of Onitsha, and the distinguished Minister and former Governor, and the distinguished former Governor and Senator, General Ikemwachuku, on the occasion of the launch of a book by Dr. K.I.K. When I was invited to exactly 30 years ago, I left Nigeria to study law at Harvard. When I got to Harvard, the courses I wanted to study, such as taxation, competition law called antitrust in the United States. Study those subjects. But I was so intent on studying them that I had to take electives in economics, and I studied under Jeffrey Sachs. Jeffrey Sachs, at that time, the world was going through major economic reforms across the globe. Soviet Union was dissolving, China was emerging as a major economy, and we began to study the interaction between democracy and economic reform, using the shock therapy which was practiced in Russia against the Indian version, India being itself a democracy. So, went and reformed the corporate sector, the economy of Russia, without any emphasis on rule of law. And naturally, when things went bad, people felt that there wasn't sufficient attention paid to rule of law aspect of it. Was to bring in 3 lawyers. Katharina Pistol from Germany, Jonathan, graduate student. So I became involved very early in the issue of economic reform. So when I left Harvard, my concern was I was living in a community of strong economic teachers. But when I finally met Dr. Kalu Dike Kalu, I found in him an opportunity for me to continue to learn and study economics and reflect on things such as economic policies or reforms. So he has inspired me, I would say. KIK has inspired me tremendously. As you've listened to other speakers, he inspired many other people. Recently I said to him, I'll round up quickly, I said to KIK, it is time we do a book on you and your teachings, so that the future generation of Nigerians will learn those things that you taught us and those things that are essential. I didn't realize that a book was already in the making. So it is indeed a wonderful opportunity to be here. One thing I will emphasize today, back to the aspect of rule of law and economic reform, is whatever you do, however you go about it, the experience, global experience, has taught us that there must be a rule of law component to these policies, for the policies to have the intended impact and effect. I was going to, if I had more opportunity, I was going to mention one particular area of rule of law deficit in Nigeria, and that has to do with the issue of corruption. Without adequate attention paid to that, without effective corresponding reforms occurring in the area of rule of law, Nigeria will not be able to realize the potentials of reforms, such as critical reforms that are, expounded in the book being launched today. I hope that as we discuss this, we will continue also to pay attention to rule of law in order not to make the mistake some reformers have made in the past. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emeka. As we went on in life, we parted ways, and much later in life, as a Brigadier General of the Nigerian Army, a newly appointed military governor of Old Imo State, I was searching for those to work with me, make the difference in the governance of that state. By the way, we met a state that was totally bankrupt. They were owing 11 months' salary to teachers, 13 months to the parastatals and so on. They were owing contractors. And yet we were making some money. So I needed somebody to run my Ministry of Finance and Economic Development. And in the search, I spoke to late Pius Okibo, who was then head of scope, and my other teacher, Dr. Sonny Okongo, who later became Minister of Finance and Minister of Petroleum Resources and Minister of National Planning in the same government that was served in under Babangida years later. Both of them, that's Okibo and
and SPC Okongo recommended to me KIK. I didn't know it was the same person. I knew him as George in school. But so this gentleman came through the doors of my office, and I stood up to meet him, and here I said, I know you now. He said, I know you too. I said, George. He said, he came. He said, fine. So I said, fine. Now, George, sit down. I have a responsibility to discharge to the people of Imo State and to Nigeria. And I'm seeking for those to help me run the affairs of that state, redeem the insolvency of my state. To run Imo State. We paid off in no time all the debt. We embarked on what we call the Imo formula, which meant whatever we earned, that's the amount of money we would pay to our staff. Simply put, if my entire workforce could produce X revenue, they couldn't expect me to pay them X plus Y, because the entire value of the workforce was X. That was the basis of Imo formula. It took some time for he and I to convince the labor unions that if you're a commander, a general leading your troops and so on, you must listen to your subordinate commanders. And when they work with you to set a plan, they will force you to make the proper decision, because it is based on your appreciation, based on your recommendations, would the decision be made. So if you turn around and say, is the government, is the president, we are not being fair. We have a country in which our people are shy, absolutely shy, to stand up into what they believe in and to push those things through. The followership can make the leadership make the right decision. That's what I'm saying in effect. Now, another aspect, just one more minute or two, another aspect that really, really irks me is our interest rate regime in Nigeria. Our interest rate regime in Nigeria. We can't go on expecting miracles to happen when, if I wanted a loan to start a business, you give it to me at 35%.
All his life, he has worked for the progress of Nigeria. Now is the payback time. Let us go now and do the unveiling of the book. We've come here to lunch, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating the man who will be 85 very soon.
Okay, I think we've had all the speeches, and by now I think we have very good insight into the mind of Dr. KIK and what's in that book, because we've had various perspectives from various speakers. The Honorable Minister gave us a very deep perspective. And of course, General Machuku, who I remember was telling his commissioners all the time that if he has to go to jail, all of them will go to jail together. So, without much ado, this is a very wonderful occasion, occasion for gratitude to God that the man we're celebrating, God has kept him in good health, and in good mind to produce this book, and we pray that he'll continue to be in good health and in good mind to write the other series that are coming behind. Therefore, in the name of God, Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, we launch this book.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, George Khalid Kakalo, Nigeria, Tariff and Non-Tariff Policies and Impact on Industrial Development. We have unveiled it, now we need to do the other one, which is Itiakana. We should now show our love for this fantastic man who has done so much for Nigeria. I'm happy that I was part of this team. When I was growing up, he just loved my voice on radio when I was reading the news. And, okay, sir. A chance came in. Come now. Okay, I'm going to go. The cameraman, the photographers, please take them. You can't have a better. These are Nigerians. It is not about money. This will serve the country with a service. Thank you very much, Abogidi. So we'll go up there, then people will now do the other one. Can you share? Chat, I got one with you. Kabesi, honorable ministers, past and present, even though there are 3 honorable ministers, past and present, seated, they have held the portfolio perhaps 6 or 7 times. So, honorable ministers times 7. My name is Leke Oshuni, and I am the current president of the King's College Old Boys Association. With me is the chairman of the school-based management committee, Alhaji Jani Ibrahim, chairman. Who came out of Imperial College with first-class honors. Genius is not uncommon in King's College, as you well know. Thank you very much. It's more than you want to hear. Okay. We do not usually make public our financial exchanges. However, sir, I guarantee you that we will purchase at least 30 copies of the book at a sum twice the price of the book. Those mathematicians should please make the computations. I thank you very much for listening. I thank you very much, sir. I don't take grammar, finish the whole thing. We put your hands together for them. It shows the love. And I'm happy they're all occupying command positions. It's not just to go to school, though. I go to school, and I think that where you did now, these guys are all occupying command positions. Your hands together for them for that. So, please.
Honorable Minister, my own elder and leader, General Machuku, our overall leader, Philip Asiodu, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the author happens to be my own friend and brother, someone that we, the younger ones, are looking up to. When he told me about this book a few days ago, I was like, if you have had more time to get across to more people to be here today. But because of time, it wasn't so possible for us to do that. However, I told him that despite whatever engagement one may have planned for the day, I would definitely be here to give him that support. Because to me, somebody like KIK,
not because of people like this we still be relevant. Huh? Okay, fidelity. Okay, sorry. Carlo Idika, Carlo Fidelity Bank, UBA. The account number is here. We have Access, okay, I'm not saying Access, but Zenith Bank is also here. So the bags are going to go around now. Keep the bags with all the guests. So what you saw in man on here, if you want to put money there, put it there, but there's a POS woman going around. If you want to do it like my own, now, please. It's cashless. No. Let me open it down. Put it in straight away.
And my boss, the boss of my boss, General Ike Wachuku, and indeed my boss, our dear Dr. Kalu Idika Kalu. When my boss called me on this event, he requested me to inform Mr. President about the event. And I did send a message while the President was in Dubai, and he sent his best wishes. And here in my hand is a copy of a book which Dr. Kalu Idika Kalu has provided for me to take to Mr. President. And I'm sure I'll be doing Mr. President proud. I'm not very good. They are fond of each other. They are fond of each other for that respect. So on behalf of Mr. President, I'm donating 10 million naira for this one book. And like I said earlier, I came here to support, to host, as somebody who grew up under the tutor. I came here to support, to host, as somebody who grew up under the tutelage of this distinguished
how we are going to deal with astounding debts and the need for paper, the need for this. I had an equation and I gave it to him, and he said, wow, this is the Imo formula. So he is the one who called it the Imo formula. I said, well, that's okay. Let me first start by thanking the Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Majesty. He set the pace. He set the pace and the time for this event. I had a little bit of caucus with my senior, by far, Izoma Asiodu, who commands a special place in our hearts, not only within the King's College Old Boys family. But I recall when I passed to King's College, my dad was away in the Cameroons, and he knew his dad. He didn't know about this. I ended up spending time with his family. This was Badley Avenue. That was what Zoma, and I knew his mother. Absolutely first-class family. So I also want to thank him. I want to thank the economists for a long time called traded and non-traded goods. So we are going into the areas of services and artificial intelligence, and I thank Teriba for interjecting with that aspect of the continuous shifts in the structure of our exports and the new frontier where nations have to compete.
Hello, welcome to Biscon Television News. I am Gloria Anozie Young. First, the headlines. On the national scene,